Welcome to A Billion Realities, where we explore all topics related to spirituality, psychology, and the power of the mind. And now your host, Jessica Gerlach.
PodcastCadet.com provides a one-on-one private consultation for anyone, whether you are just starting or already have a podcast that you want to take to the next level. They have the professionals to help you. Visit PodcastCadet.com today and use the code REALITY20 to save 20% off your entire purchase. I've personally used this service, and I can assure you, you will not be disappointed.
Welcome back to A Billion Realities. Today we have our co-host, Kyle McNeil of True Aspect Media and Hip Hop Canada. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, what's up?
Great to have you back, as always. So today on the show, we are speaking to the lead singer of a Rhode Island punk band called Gymshorts, Sarah Greenwell. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Awesome.
Hanging in there.
Great.
How's the weather out in New York today?
It's really nice. It's been really nice all week. There was like a lot of rain in the forecast, but the whole week has been like mid to high 70s.
Oh, very nice. Hopefully you're not affected by any of the protests going on out there.
They're not super close to me, like where I am right now, but I'm honestly hoping to get to some for sure.
What has your band been up to during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Oh boy. Well, not much. A lot. We're actually all separate. So 2 are in Philly, and then one is in Providence, and I've been mostly in New York for a good portion of it. So it's kind of hard to like get together. We haven't obviously gotten together to do really anything, but you know.
Have you been writing music at all, or?
Yeah, I have. Honestly, I have like another project that I've been mostly writing music for in this time, but I've definitely written a few Gymshorts songs for sure that I hope to like get out there when we can get back together.
Awesome.
Yeah, hopefully that's sooner than later. I heard New York starting to move forward into the second stage of opening things up again.
Yeah, so I think we're in phase 2 now. I don't know. It all feels really scary, and it also feels like no one really knows anything. So, and like nothing has super medically changed, like there's still not a treatment and there's still not a vaccine. So I don't know what will happen. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's getting pushed back due to financial and political pressures, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to kind of I'm with my family right now, so I definitely don't want to infect anyone. So I'm just kind of still trying to play it safe. I haven't really been seeing many people, and if it is, it's just like on a walk or something outside.
Wow.
Hopefully you're able to get to band practice in the next few months or so.
Yeah, I hope so. I miss those guys.
Aw.
So when was it when you first started doing music, and how old were you?
Well, I always like sang like in high school and middle school, but I never really, I guess I played the piano when I was younger, but I kind of had like piano teacher that he just was like, he would put like the numbers 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 over all the notes. So like I never really learned how to play. It was just like, I played by like finger. And then I got a guitar in high school, and I started playing and had a few people try and teach me, but it wasn't until like college, but mostly after college, that I started playing more and playing out with other people.
So no childhood ambitions to play music?
No, yeah, it kind of came out of nowhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We usually hear, but we hear more often than not people who are, it's something that they've always wanted to do. It's really cool when you hear about an adult person who just, gets hit with like, okay, this is what I want to do. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school for writing, so I mean, part of it, I think that kind of overlaps for sure. But then after school, I moved to Texas, and that was like pretty music heavy city.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I was kind of inspired by like watching all my friends be in bands there, and I joined a band there. And then when I moved back, I sort of was like, no, I got to keep doing this. And that's when I sort of started Gymshorts.
Very cool. So what was it like growing up in Providence, Rhode Island?
I actually didn't. I grew up in New York. It's so funny. Like no one that's in the band now is even from Rhode Island.
Wow. How did you all end up there?
Well, the band has changed members quite often actually, but the original members were from Providence, and I had dated someone that had lived in Rhode Island, and so I'd spent a lot of time going there. And even after like we broke up, I still sort of found myself in Rhode Island pretty often, and then that's sort of where I started or formed Gymshorts with one of the original members, and then we found other people that like lived in Providence to play with us. And then I moved.
Okay. Awesome. So are there any bands from Providence that we might not know are from there?
I don't know. What bands do you know from Providence?
That we might not know are from there. Like some popular bands that, people do know, but that are from Providence.
I personally haven't heard any bands from Providence.
That's why we're asking. Yeah.
Well, do you know Downtown Boys?
No, I don't.
Me either.
And they're from Providence. Deer Tick is from Providence.
Wow.
This band Nova One is from Providence. Great band. You should check them. Seriously.
Okay.
A band Fine is from Providence. I don't know. It's tough. There are a lot of Providence has a cool music scene.
I have two really good friends from Providence. One is a filmmaker who's been a partner of mine for like 20 years and a really good friend, but he ended up in New York as well. Cool. And then Atlanta. But yeah, he's from Providence and he goes back quite often. And another woman who's an actress. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of creative people come from there.
Yeah, super. Yeah.
How far away is Providence from New York? I've never been there.
It's only 3 hours or so.
Oh,
but
wow.
Yeah, Providence is interesting because there's like, it's such a small city, but yet there's like 4 pretty major colleges right in the city of Providence.
Wow. I still need to check it out. I didn't know it was that close to New York, actually. I knew it wasn't really far, but so how long has Gymshorts been a band?
Since about 2012.
Oh, wow. It's a while.
Yeah.
Cool.
Time.
I noticed that you wear a lot of NASCAR racing shirts. What is the idea behind that? And are you a big fan of NASCAR racing?
To be honest, no, not really. It was sort of just a joke. Like, a friend of mine sent this like page that I follow, like this NASCAR or this Jeff Gordon guitar. Like it was kind of like a gear share page. Like you'd post, I don't know, like cool amps that were for sale or like cool guitars that were for sale, or you could post all your gear that you were selling on there. But so I saw this post for this Jeff Gordon guitar and it was like $100. I thought it was like hilarious. And so I bought it. And at the time a member of our band was, because I do all the driving for on tour mostly.
Okay.
So he sort of dubbed me the Jeff Gordon of our generation, which I
'Cause you're
guess
the
just
driver.
I was the driver. And so then, like, kind of as a joke, I just wrote a song called I'm the Jeff Gordon of Our Generation. And then I only play that guitar for that song. But that's pretty much it. And just like the colors that Jeff Gordon, he has some good style.
Yeah, I'm from Canada, and they do not have any NASCAR racing up here, so it's kind of foreign to me.
Might be a good thing.
It seems like a lot of the Gymshorts songs incorporate a degree of comedic storytelling, such as the song Ding Dong Ditch. Is comedy an important element in your music?
Yeah, totally. Like, I think, so I think it's an important part of Gymshorts music. I think, like, for a while there was, like, my other project or solo project, and the lyrics are a lot more vulnerable and probably a lot more cryptic, which makes that type of music really scary to play. It's a lot
What
softer,
is the name of your other
but I think with
project?
Gymshorts, it's called Green Sleeves.
Oh, okay. I
I
think
don't
I've
know.
heard of that.
Well, honestly, I haven't really played very much as that project yet. I was just sort of starting before this whole virus took hold.
I probably read it on your Instagram or something like that.
But with Gymshorts, yeah, I think, like, I was just like, I want to write punk songs that, like, make me laugh. Or I think that was the inspiration behind a lot of the songs, like a funny idea, and then I would just try and think of lyrics that were clever or, like, made myself laugh, and then hoped that it would make other people laugh too.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that was one song that stood out to me when I saw you play in Toronto last April at the Bovine, was that one.
Oh, I love that show. That was so fun with Thick
Thick and Bad
and Bad
Waitress.
Waitress. Yeah.
That's awesome. We had Bad Waitress on.
Yeah, I saw that. They're so cool.
They're really awesome. I loved
and, like,
having
the
them
nicest people.
Yeah, they were really great to have on. Really fun show.
Yeah, that was an awesome lineup in Toronto that night. Having you three bands, that was really cool.
Yeah, I love Thick. I've been learning all their songs in hopes to join their band.
You jumped on stage with them. I have photos of it.
Yeah, I was playing a few songs with them.
Very cool.
Yeah, that show was fun because when I was filming, or I filmed a few songs for Thick, and I was sitting on this wooden box in front of the stage, and then the mosh pit started, and I kept on getting, like, elbowed in the back of the head, and it felt like someone was in the crowd was just punching me in the head.
That's how it feels in the mosh pit.
So when Gymshorts played, I didn't sit on that box anymore, and I moved over to where I was where I filmed for Bad Waitress.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was an awesome show. We recently watched the new music video "Pullin' an All-Nighter," which is a cover parody of the Olsen Twins song from the 90s. Are you actually a fan of the Olsen Twins?
Hell yeah, I grew up on the Olsen Twins. I wanted to be them, like, until now. I think they're so cool. I really love them. I used to watch all their movies all the time, all their shows. That song was pretty fun to do.
I saw that.
Big fan of Full House.
Yeah, I love Full House.
I grew up on that too. I saw that on YouTube, that video.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is really funny and interesting.
I mean, the director, Andrew Benedict, took his own little spin on the original video, that's for sure. I don't think they were drinking beers in the original one, but...
Or have Coke dust under their nose.
Yeah, or, like, stab their dad.
Yeah. So that music video also featured Thick from Brooklyn, who we were just discussing. So what is your relationship with that band?
They're good friends of mine. And I honestly really love their band, and I've been pestering them for a really long time to let me play with them. But
Very-
actually, before they all got canceled, I was supposed to meet up with them at the end of our U.S. tour to jump on the end of their U.S. tour and actually be playing with them, which I was very bummed that they both got canceled.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So, how many times have you toured in Canada?
Well, Gymshorts has played there a few times, only really in Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto. But then in December, I mean, I was not playing. I was just selling merch for a few bands from Australia, and they did a full Canada tour pretty much with only one date in America, which was funny, in Milwaukee, I think. But yeah, so I got to go all over Canada, which I had never been. It was really, really cold, but it was really beautiful.
Was it the Dune Rats?
It was Hockey Dad and DZ Death Rays and Horror, my friend. It's very fun.
Okay.
I think they came to Toronto. They played Lee's Palace.
Lee's Palace.
Yeah, that was a cool show. That's a cool venue.
Lee's Palace is very old, but it's been around for a while, and actually Nirvana played there in 1990 before they blew up.
Wow,
Which
that's crazy.
I wish I was old enough to go, but I was very young in 1990.
Yeah.
So what is the favorite place you have toured so far with Gymshorts, other than Canada?
Well, last year we went to Thailand, which was like very, very special. So I think that holds a pretty cool place in my heart. But honestly, I really love touring the US because I feel like no matter how many times you go somewhere, there's like always something else to explore, or like, but then also like the pockets that you hit again and again, like become comforting. Like, you have your favorite deli that you like to go to if you're like in Nashville. Shout out to Mitchell. I love that deli. But but like it's comforting, but it's also really interesting to see. Or like you'll go and you'll play a different venue somewhere in the same city, and then it's cool to just explore different little pockets of each city and have like a mental image of the country.
That's pretty cool. I'm sure you've gotten to see a lot of the U.S. with your band. How would you describe the band's musical style in your own words?
In my own words, I don't know. That's a good question. I would just say like maybe fun and better live than in a recording. I don't know. I think it captures the energy better live than the recording.
Would you describe it more as a punk band or an alternative rock band?
Probably more punk. It's like, but I feel like it's not punk to be like, I'm punk, But I guess if I'm faced with that question, I would say that. Like
Comedic
rock,
punk.
Stoner rock. I don't know. I think there's elements of a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. I was thinking like comedic punk, comedic rock.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Who are some of Gymshorts' influences or your influences?
My influences, I really love the Nerves. I really love the Donnas, Stooges, the Ramones, the Strokes. I love the Strokes. I really love like 60s and 50s music. I love Peter and Gordon. I mean, but that doesn't really like translate into Gymshorts necessarily.
Doesn't have to.
It's kind of all over the place, but in terms of rock, yeah, I don't know. I really do love the Donnas. I think that's Babes in Toyland. I like it all.
Cool. So how do you feel as a woman fronting a pop punk band?
I feel damn good.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I don't know. I think sometimes it's hard. People like don't take you seriously or like make a comment that maybe they don't see as like sexist, but it is. And I'm just like, what the fuck, you know? But
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah, it must be interesting, you know. I was really curious about that. It's different when you have an all-female band, right? But yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm very thankful because my bandmates have my back and like they're always, you know, behind me 100% when anything like that happens. But it's like, you know, like the I don't know, several times like the sound person or whatever will like go up to them and ask them all the questions or like go to pay them at the end of the night instead of like me when I've had all the correspondence back and forth, you know. It's like these
Wow.
little things that feel like this has to be intentional, you know what I mean? Like you're just disregarding my position, like I don't know.
Yeah, for
That's very
sure.
rude.
Yeah, you're
Or
being
like, or even like when I know the intention behind it might be nice to be like, oh, do you need help getting your gear? It's like, okay, are you gonna ask the fucking sorry if I'm not allowed to curse.
you are.
Are you gonna ask the 3 people behind me that are men bringing in gear if they need help? You know what I mean? Like it's these little slights that, okay, maybe the intention is nice to be helpful, but if like there is like a sexist quality to that, I believe.
Yeah, if you notice it, I'm sure it's there. And they might not even realize they're doing it, but of course you will, right? So I can imagine that would be frustrating.
Yeah. Or like a lot of times, this is like the one that drives me the most insane, even though it's like, it feels very innocent, but it drives me nuts. Is like when you tell someone that you're in a band and they're like, oh, are you the singer? You know, it's like just because, you know, and then to which I usually respond, yes, and I play the guitar at the same time. Do you believe it?
That's good. I like your
I'm getting
comeback.
worked up. You guys are working me up just thinking about it.
I bet it's triggering, I'm sure. Did you face any adversities like growing up, or, you know, we just discussed some of the adversities, I guess, that you face as a female lead singer, guitar player in a band, right? But what are some of the other adversities that you faced?
Growing up?
Yeah, growing up or even in your career.
I mean, I was like bullied a lot as a kid, but it hardly seems like, I don't know, like, you know, there's like so much more in the world, you know, like it feels weird, I think, especially now to like talk about like it was horrible because there's just so much other shit in the world that matters so much more and is much more horrible.
Well, I appreciate your perspective, but I do think it's, you know, it's still something you went through, and the fact that you were bullied, and it was really horrible because of course it is, it's bullying, but the fact is that you get up on stage now with confidence and do your thing even after that. So that's exactly why I was asking, because a lot of artists have faced adversities, but they've overcome them. And it seems like you have. So was it hard for you to get that confidence to do that after, you know, dealing with bullying growing up?
I've never actually really thought about them in correlation to each other, to be honest, but I think confidence is just something like you're always fighting against, and or like having confidence is something that you're like, or I feel like I'm always fighting against, or like, you know, trying to spend a lot of, or I think in the past few years especially, like I've just spent a lot of time like working on my own mental health and physical health and you know, trying to be in a better place. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes it's harder than others. I think sometimes I I get really nervous a lot of times, but I think once I'm up there doing it, I feel a lot better. And I think specifically with this project, like I mentioned before with Green Sleeves, it's a much softer, quieter, more vulnerable project. And I think I really, at this point in that project, I'm sort of struggling to like even do it. It feels very nerve-wracking for me, but I always try and push myself because I know that it feels good afterwards to just do it.
That is amazing. That's all you can do.
Yeah. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, so it does feel good to do it.
Love that.
Yeah, I'm hoping to record that album like at the end of the summer. So hopefully that will be able to happen.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I hope you get to do that. That'd be great.
Thank you. Me too.
You know, I find even myself as a photographer, when I'm going to a gig to do some concert photography, there's even some anxiety on my end. And I think it's natural, just having that social anxiety.
Oh,
going into it,
totally.
especially when you're on the stage in front of everyone. Everyone's going to be looking at you.
Yeah.
Yes, I have gone through it with public speaking. Like the first time I was like, oh my God, I'm at a college in front of all these students. It's nerve-wracking. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know about you, but I think a lot of things just give me anxiety. Like even going to like someone's house or something that is like having a little gathering. And I'm like, but am I really invited? Or like, is this going to be weird? Or, or like, what if they didn't actually think I was going to come? But then you like go and you ring the doorbell and it's like totally fine. Like it's just for me about pushing myself through that. Like I think a lot of my anxiety is anticipatory, and being able to realize that has been very helpful for me to like follow through.
I can totally relate to that. It makes complete sense.
Honestly, that type of thing is quite normal. I know a lot of times when you're going through it, you think, oh my God, am I the only one feeling like this? But trust me, like there's more than just you that feels that way. If it makes you feel any better about it at all. But
Thanks.
Somebody gave me really good advice one time. It was like, we were at a party. I was way, way younger. And it was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that last night, or maybe I shouldn't have done that, at that party, or, whatever, something small, something stupid. And my friend was like, everybody else is thinking the same thing. They're not focused on you. I was like, you know what? That's like the best perspective I've heard, So that was kind of a turning point for me personally. It was like, everybody's more concerned with what they were doing, not as much as what you were doing, right? So,
I saw this like new term or something that online. I don't know if it's like actually a real term, but it's called like anxiety or something. Like it's basically the equivalent of like being hungover but having anxiety, kind of.
Oh wow, makes sense.
For me, it meant like after like a night of drinking, just feeling totally anxious about like not being able to remember what happened.
When you overdo it, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I thought it was an interesting term for what a lot of people probably feel.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, usually when I'm going to a show to do some photos or something, what I always tell myself is, I'm going to be up front with the band as well, but everyone's not going to be looking at me. They're going to be looking at the band for the most part. That's how I rationalize it to myself.
But they'll be looking at your photos.
Yeah, afterwards.
That part you're confident in.
Yes, that's true.
And you should be, because they're amazing.
That's more. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's more of a controlled environment with photos, because you can kind of pick the good ones and leave the bad ones out type deal.
Mm-hmm. True that.
But anyway, moving along back to music, what are some of your favorite bands you have toured with so far?
Bands I've toured with? We had a really fun tour with Taco Cat. That was really fun. I don't know if you know them. They're from Seattle. And then
have not.
we toured with La Luz, which was, do you know La Luz? They're from the
No,
West
it
Coast as well.
doesn't ring a bell.
They're a great band. You should check out all these bands. Death Valley Girls, they were a great band to tour with.
I've
Super
heard of them.
fun.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I'm going
they're
to have
cool.
some new music to listen to. This is great.
Sorry, what was that?
I was just saying, it's great that you're mentioning some of these bands. Yeah, new music to listen to. I love that.
Yeah, you should check them out. They're super fun people if you ever, I don't know, interview them too.
Yeah, cool.
So, are there any goals that you have for yourself or the band over the next few years?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have really wanted to tour in Europe, which we haven't done yet. So I think I would really love to do that. And I think other than that, maybe put out another record. And just be able to, like, I don't know, sometimes it feels really hard, to be honest. But I think to just be able to keep pushing through and be able to keep growing as a band, and maybe like venturing like song wise, maybe outside of the comfort zone, or like the music that maybe feels like, okay, well, we've done that, like let's push it a little bit or something. That's personal though for myself.
I think you have a pretty good following so far.
Well, wait, what'd you say? Sorry, I think it's cutting out a little.
Oh, I said I think you have a pretty good following so far.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been cool.
Well, if you want to start touring in Europe, I can probably help you in that area. I live 50% of the time in Eastern Europe, so we should make that happen. We can talk about it.
That's cool. You do?
I'm here right now. I'm in Serbia right now.
Oh my God, that is so cool.
I'll be back in New York in 2 weeks. Maybe we can meet up, because I'm going to be in like 40 minutes from you.
Wow, I would love that.
Cool.
We could go for a walk.
Yes. A safe.
Wait, what time is it there?
It's 12:36 a.m. here.
Like midnight style?
Yep.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yep, that's right. So yeah, we'll definitely meet up. That's a great idea. I would love that too.
Meet up and book a tour.
You 1,000 questions.
We should really organize a tour. I think that's a great idea. It's amazing.
Yeah, I would really love that. We've been trying for a while. I think like I require a lot of details up front, and I think sometimes, or like from what I've heard from other people too, it's kind of like you don't totally get all those details until like you're on the plane. And I'm like, well, it's expensive, and like, like I don't know. I think it's hard to plan for that thing without knowing, like, okay, I'm going to be staying here at this point. You're full that you maybe never met before.
Oh, for sure. That's the whole intimidating aspect. Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, but maybe I gotta let loose and trust the process.
You know what? That's another part of stepping out of your comfort zone, right? So maybe that's part of that.
Yeah.
So speaking of tours, can you give us one of your craziest tour stories?
Oh boy. Craziest tour story. I have one, but it wasn't from touring with Gymshorts.
That's okay. Tell us anyway. We just want a crazy story.
Okay, it's not like that. I hope I'm not going to disappoint you. It's not that crazy.
It's okay.
But this is what's coming to mind. Is I was tour managing a band from LA called Sad Girl. If you're not familiar with them, you should for sure check them out. And we were in a pretty intense snowstorm. Like we were trying to go from Reno somewhere to Bend, Oregon, but halfway through we kind of got stuck like in this crazy snowstorm. It took us like 7 hours to get from just Reno to Sacramento, which is like only 3-hour drive. And then the next day when we were driving from Sacramento up to Oregon, we were like, okay, we could take this long route up the coast. It'll add like 3 or 4 hours, or we can just try and push it up through like Mount Shasta and all these places in Oregon where there's like pretty intense mountains. But we're like, all right, let's just try it. I think it'll be fine. So we went, and it started like, I don't know, not pouring snow. What would you say? Snowstorming?
Yeah. Blizzard. There you go.
Anyway, yeah, blizzard. So we get to this point where there's like several like police officers there, and they're like, oh, you don't need snow chains. You don't need snow chains. And we're like, are you sure? Like, we were just going to stop and put them on. And they're like, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So we keep on going like maybe 30 minutes more. And we ended up we got super stuck. We couldn't move. And so we pulled off to the side of the road. It's like really dark outside, very cold. Only had like maybe a quarter tank of gas. There was almost no service. And we're trying to call someone to let them know that we're like on the side of the road stuck, and sorry, I'm getting sidetracked by the grass. So we couldn't get through to anyone because there was no service, and like for the brief second that we did get through, they were kind of just telling us that like, oh, there's so many people in your situation right now. So finally we waited there like 30 more minutes, and this guy comes up to the window, like walking up to the window, and he's like, you guys have to move. And we're like, we can't move. He's like, I know, I'm gonna push you. And so he pushed us up the mountain, but like bumper to bumper up the mountain with his truck. He pushed like the whole van, like a 15-passenger van. And then we got to the top of the mountain, and we needed to get gas, so we pulled over at the gas station, and then we got completely stuck there. There was like no hotels, like nothing, so we just slept at the gas station. I offered the guy to pay him like to keep his store open, like from the gas station, to let us sleep in there, but he said no.
Wow, that's a pretty crazy story.
It's good that you didn't freeze.
It was more scary. What?
I said it's good that you didn't freeze sleeping in the van.
Well, we filled up with gas right before they closed and got some snacks, and then we didn't actually sleep at the van. A few times at night, it got cold, and we would turn like maybe, and then if it got warm, we would just shut it back off. Luckily, we had a lot of space in the back. They were only 3-piece at the time, so they didn't have much gear. So 2 people, I think, were able to sleep like fully spread.
Wow.
Sorry, it's not very funny or anything. It's more.
Yeah. Well, those are the scary things, the situations that you can get into being on tour. So that's what we wanted to hear. Something crazy, like something crazy or scary. So can you think of an interesting fact about Gymshorts that you can tell us about that your fans may not know?
Well, the first one comes to mind is that I can't remember the exact number, but there have been probably like 26 or 27 people that have at some point, whether it's for one show or for several shows, played in this band.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's a great fact. Okay. Interesting.
For many different reasons.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's cool though. It is kind of cool.
Very cool.
What do you feel sets your band apart from other bands?
Ooh, these are loaded questions here. I don't really know. Like, I think on a certain level, it's like I sort of feel like this like camaraderie amongst all bands, because like you're just trying to do the same thing. Like you're just trying to like work towards this common goal, because everyone just wants to be playing music and like, I don't know, touring the different places with their friends, and it feels good to do. So on one level, I feel like nothing sets us apart from anyone trying to do that. Like there's this common goal, you know, that feels very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's how you meant the question.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But what would you say makes you guys unique? Your style or your approach?
Storytelling.
How about the comedy in your music?
Yeah, maybe that. I mean, I definitely think there are other bands that have elements of that in their music. Like I wouldn't say we're the only band doing that for sure, but I definitely think like maybe like a more comedic approach is a little bit more different than just like people who are talking about other things in their lives.
Right. And everybody
Or
has
more
their own. Oh, sorry, there's a delay again. Everybody has their own comedic style. I just wanted to say that. So I think that any type of comedic style is, specific to any particular band. So I think that stood out to me about you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got pretty crazy at the end of the show in Toronto last April when you got on the guy's shoulders and.
Oh yeah, that was cool. I think there's a video of it somewhere.
Yeah, it's my video probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you took it.
Did you know that guy? Was he touring with you?
No, I didn't know him. He was a good sport though.
What is the creative process like while writing music with your band?
Well, most of the time I'll write like the lyrics and like the chord progression either in my head when I think about it, or like I'll work on it a little bit like alone, and then I'll bring it to the rest of the band, whoever's in the band at that moment, and we'll sort of like flush it out, and they'll add their parts, and sort of we'll just play it. There was one time, like, because we all sort of live in different places, it's kind of hard for us to get together like that much, or that often when we're not touring. So there was one time last tour where like I had pretty much fleshed out the whole song with not the parts that they were gonna put to it, but like definitely the song, or like the structure of the song. And so I recorded like a tiny little demo of it, and then we played it like through the speakers on the car, like when we were driving to the first show. And then we sort of just learned the song that way. Like I would be like, darn, it was actually Zero Thanksgiving. Like I'd be like, darn, and the drummer would be like, pop, pop, and then like play on his legs, and then like Max would hum his bass part, and Casey would like hum the guitar part. We sort of just put the song together, and then we soundchecked it once, and then we played it live the rest of the tour.
Yeah, that one has a cool riff.
Thank you.
Can you tell us something unique about yourself as a person or an artist?
Like musically?
It can be, or anything.
Unique. I really want to write children's books.
Really? Okay.
Does that work? Or should I pick something else?
That's awesome. I'm a writer. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You are? No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome.
It's just, I think that's a really great avenue to take as well. Somebody, I think it might have been my dad actually, he's like, you should really write children's books. It's a huge market, and you can put so much creativity into that. People love that.
Yeah, I actually well, it's not really a children's book. It's probably more for adults, but I just finished one throughout this quarantine, which was very fun.
Cool.
Little outlet.
I would love to check it out if you're willing to share. I won't share it
Yeah,
with
that'd
anyone
be
else.
so cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome. So what do you want the world to know about your band, Gymshorts?
We're just trying to have some fun, people.
That's great.
And I think that we just really love to play. Like, if I could play probably 300 shows a year, like 300 nights out of the year, I would do it.
That's
Maybe
amazing.
more. I really do love playing, and I love meeting new people, and I love touring. I love going to different places and exploring, and it feels very like productive for me, and it feels really fun.
That's great. So what kind of advice would you give to others starting out in the music industry?
Eat more candy. But actually, for real, I don't know. I think like just it takes a lot of time, you know. Like I feel like when we were starting out, or when I, like was first trying to book shows and stuff, like I would spend hours, honestly, like on like Facebook, looking at like past events in different cities and trying to see like who went to this event, and like is this a good band to play with, and like just reaching out and just asking. I also feel like, for every 20 no's that you get, like the 21st person might say yes, so just, I don't know. I think I always felt like, why not just ask? Like, the worst that can happen is someone doesn't answer, or someone says no. And I think just to be kind. Like, there's so many shitty people in the world. Just, I don't know. I think kindness goes a long way, and you should never just, I don't know. I don't like the attitude of people who like get to a certain point and then they're like not nice anymore.
I think that's fantastic.
Like people are just people.
Yeah. And also, in that industry, you have to build relationships with people and not burn bridges, right? So I think that's great advice. And I love your advice as well about, being proactive, but also persistent. Even if you get some rejection, it's just part of the business. And, for every 100 no's, you'll get 20 yeses.
Yeah, it's super easy to get discouraged, but
of course,
it's really rewarding to keep going.
Yeah. So that brings me to another question. What has been the toughest thing about this industry for you?
I think sometimes it can feel really discouraging. Like sometimes I feel like, damn, why doesn't anyone want to be our booking agent? Although like now we have someone that's going to help us, I think. But I don't know. It feels like there's a lot of like, I don't know, reasons that maybe I don't understand why like hard work doesn't necessarily like help you.
Right.
Say. I think it's sometimes discouraging, like, oh man, I would do like everything that this agent wanted to play all these shows, and like I'd be on tour for like this much time of the year if they wanted me to, or like, just to get to that level where like I didn't have to do it all myself. But so I think sometimes there's like exclusivity that feels very discouraging or something, like I'm not in the club. But it also feels nice to like have control over like the things that we're doing and the shows that we're playing and the decisions we're making. Like that feels really authentic to this band.
That's amazing. Very cool.
Yeah,
sorry, I thought I lost you.
I would say, we're still here. I would say sometimes coming to the realization about the business side of things isn't always so nice, I would say.
Yeah, like it just feels like sometimes, you know, like you want to be able to stay afloat, you know, you don't want to be like losing money. Yeah, I was just saying, like, coming to the realization that, like, regardless of the level and regardless like of how much backing you might have or how easy it might be for you to be touring, like everyone's sort of still in this position of like trying to fucking make their ends meet. It's just like at a different level, you know, because then, or I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. It makes sense.
Because then you have to pay your booking agent and your all these other fees or whatever. So it's like you're still, even when you do have the help, you could be in the same position as if you didn't have the help.
Right. And that makes sense. Absolutely.
So Sarah, what is your favorite part about being in a band?
I really love traveling, and I really do love doing something different every day, even though like the show might be or feel the same. Well, they don't really feel the same, but even though like the idea of playing every day is the same, you know, being in a different location or like having your office kind of be just moving all the time is really nice and feels really healthy for me. And I really love playing music, and I really love doing it in front of people.
Right on, that's cool.
Very cool.
So just wrapping up here, where can people find your music and give your social media a shout out?
Okay, well, our Instagram is Gymshorts Music, and our Facebook is Gymshorts Music. Our music is on Bandcamp and Spotify and Apple Music, and I think every other streaming place that you can find it. Yeah, we've worked with Greenwell Records, Wallflower Records, Burger Records. So they all have our music somewhere on their site.
That's amazing. Check
Cool.
Gymshorts out, guys, and check out all the bands that Sarah mentioned today. I'm looking forward to doing that for sure. I'm also looking forward to meeting up with you in a couple of weeks. So we'll stay in
I really
touch.
love that.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for being on today, sharing your stories, your insight, and just your whole mentality, you know, as a person and in this business. I'm sure people will take a lot of insight away from the show. So thanks
Thank you
again.
for having me.
You're very
Thanks,
welcome.
Sarah.
Bye, you guys.
Thank you both, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of A Billion Realities with your host, Jessica Gerlach. Visit us online at abillionrealities.com and follow us on social media at A Billion Realities. A Billion Realities is available on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Alexa, Reach.tv, or your favorite podcast service. A Billion Realities is a proud member of the HC Universal Network family of podcasts. For more great episodes and content, visit hcuniversalnetwork.com today. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And until next time, remember, we are all but one of a billion realities.